Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. That was weird. I don't know why. It took, 5 minutes for me to connect today. And in fact, I wound up refreshing it to make it start over again because it just wasn't working. So I hope everyone's doing well. It's good to see all of you here today. It looks like we've got about 28 people right now on YouTube, about 15 people here on Instagram right now, and that will probably grow as we go on. I'll start at the very top here. Shalom Aleichem. I responded to a message from you already. I think it was a comment, perhaps on one of my videos. I don't remember. Thoughts on low blood pressure. Yeah, your low blood pressure is likely due to dehydration, and drinking more water isn't the way to fix that. The way to fix that is by fasting to cleanse your body, which will allow for actual hydration. Most people are never going to get hydrated by drinking more water because the first step is to clean the garbage out of the body. And that happens through fasting. So come spend a month with me and I can we see low blood pressure resolving all the time, going to healthy blood pressure as a result of fasting. That will almost certainly happen for you too if you're willing to do what you need to do. Fasting followed by optimal diet is all you need to do. You know, people recommend salt, which is toxic to the body, raises blood pressure, but it's raising blood pressure because your body is holding more water and it's attempting to get rid of this nasty stuff. That's not the way to do it. I can help you with that, but the answer is fasting. Okay, so we have a super chat. I'm going to scroll down here and see who has stepped up. It's Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie. Good to see you. Good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. Happy Friday to you as well. Stephanie has made a $4.99 contribution with just that comment. There's no question here. So I'm going to scroll back up and let's take a look. Z-Bubs, please comment on biophotons. Well, I think we've talked about this before. There's not really so much I can say about this except what we're talking about is light. And we need to have light. We don't do well in caves. We don't do well in London. We don't do well in Scandinavia most of the year, where there's simply not enough sunlight to support the human body because we're tropical animals. So, I just came in from being outside for 45, 60 minutes. We're shooting some videos here and we're shooting outside. We're not shooting in the direct sunlight, but there's nothing like being exposed to that natural light. Okay, we actually need that. And we need direct sunlight as well in our eyes, not staring at the sun, but being outside and exposed to sunlight. We need sunlight on our skin. Okay, we need this. So we're not going to do well in places where there's not enough light. Benito says, hi, Loren, my hair started falling out since I have parathyroid problems and Hashimoto. Can hair grow back with fasting? Also, why eating only fruits don't get fat after fasting? Why eating only fruits? I don't get fat after fasting. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly what you're asking here. First of all, can you heal the parathyroid as a result of fasting? Yes, absolutely. Thyroid and parathyroid, like every other organ in the body, can heal when given the opportunity. Now, obviously, things can go too far and it might be too late, but keep in mind that our bodies are intended, we're self-healing, we're self-cleansing. The bodies are intended to cleanse and heal themselves. And fasting is simply the most efficient, most effective way to allow the body to do what it needs to do. And so fasting long enough and properly. Okay, now the key is, we rarely see anybody having success with this on their own because you have to actually know what you're doing. And most people don't. It's not that you're dumb, it's that you don't have the experience. You have to truly understand the process, so that you understand what's happening, how to respond, and what you should and shouldn't be doing. When you have that, we see success here all the time. Now, the next question, why you didn't get fat eating only fruit? Is that what you're asking? You ate only fruit and you expected to be able to gain some weight and didn't? I don't know if maybe you didn't eat enough. Again, I'm not really sure what you're saying here. You can certainly get fat if you overeat on fruit. You don't want to get fat. Maybe you wanted to bring your weight back up to a healthy weight. That's, again, with guidance, that's easy to do. So my recommendation is the same as every expert on fasting ever for the last 200 years, and that is fast with experience guidance. Let me help you. I realize budgetary issues may be real, but there are ways to make this happen. And we have people all the time who go out and raise money, and we have payment plans with Skype coaching. So, Benito, if you're ready to heal, email me, info@tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com. Okay, email me there. That's the best email. And we can get you healed if you're willing to put in the time and make an investment in yourself. Your body can heal. Okay, it's not easy, but you can do this if you're willing to do what you need to do. All right. Benito said, oh, you know what? I've got another super chat here. I'm going to scroll down. This is 10 pounds, British pounds. It's Ian 444444. And Ian says, silver lining to current events is that we can get you for a record number of consecutive Fridays. Thank you so much. You're very kind. Yeah, I mean, usually it's been 3 or 4 years now, I think. Now, we weren't always on YouTube. I started out doing this on Facebook, and then when Facebook failed me, all of a sudden I couldn't get it to work on Facebook anymore. I thought I'll try YouTube, and it turns out it's actually better on YouTube. We wind up getting more people here most of the time on YouTube, and I can still let people know on Facebook, which is probably how some of you found me. But thanks for your kind comments. I think I've been here most Fridays. I guess you're right, because when I'm traveling and speaking, sometimes it's hard to do this. And there's been no traveling now for 6 months. I haven't left here since March. And I mean, in March, that was a quick trip. Nicaragua, the Nicaraguan border is 2.5 hours away. I drove up there, walked across the border, came right back, spent 2 hours waiting to get through because my passport was beat up. I wound up, because it was so late by the time I crossed the border, I didn't feel like driving back late at night. So I stayed at a place close by the border in Costa Rica and then came back the next morning. Actually, I had a volunteer that was also coming back the next day. And I thought, it's 10 o'clock at night. I'll get home at midnight. And if I wait and spend the night here, I can help Sarah. I can pick her up in the morning at the bus and drive her back. Otherwise, she was going to have a series of buses. So, but aside from that trip, I haven't really left here since I came back sometime in December. So it's a record. I've been really, if we don't count that really doesn't count. I've been in Costa Rica now for, 10 months, something like that, 10, almost 11 months now, I think. And that's true. I've never done that before because I've got to leave every 90 days normally. And because of all this idiotic nonsense, here I still am. And that means I've been here, I think, pretty much almost every week, if not every week now for close to a year. So thanks very much for your comments. After an 8-hour sleep, I emptied my bladder and I ate 1 kilogram of watermelon. Continue below. Okay, hang on a second here. What's going on? There we go. Okay. I then did not eat or drink for 5 hours, but was still urinating, as 1 kilogram of watermelon has about 920 milliliters of water. I was expecting where'd it go? I was expecting all the water to be processed by the kidneys in the max of 2 hours. What's going on? Yeah, no, it doesn't get processed in 2 hours. It can sometimes take much longer than that. It just depends. What happens when you eat food is the water, first of all, it can take 8 to 12 hours for food to move all the way through the digestive tract. Now, the excess water may be moving through more quickly, and when it comes to the transverse colon, which comes across the belly, we're reabsorbing that water into the bloodstream and then eliminating whatever is excess. But that process can happen over the course of 4 or 5 hours, for sure. I don't know for me that it's ever been much longer than that, but certainly it can take hours, many hours after eating, and that's the reason why. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, looks like we have another super chat here. I'm having a little trouble with this. Scrolling down. Okay, well, we have a couple of them. So Jaskaran. Jaskaran says, can excessive nuts on a raw vegan diet cause mucoid plaque? Well, yeah. I mean, excessive nuts and seeds can cause lots of mucus, first of all, which is, I thought, where you were going. Absolutely, because your body, you're going to be consuming way too much fat, and your body is not going to want all that fat, and so it's going to wind up, in most cases, creating some mucus for the body as the body deals with all this excessive fat and protein, way more than anybody wants. I recommend eating nuts and seeds almost never. I mean, for me, I eat them very, very occasionally, probably on average of once every 2 months or so, something like that. I feel much better eating exclusively fruit and simple salads. Mucoid plaque, of course, is the old hard material which gets lodged in the intestines. I believe in most cases this is going to be stuck in the small intestine. Can eating nuts and seeds cause mucoid plaque? Well, sure. Again, you're eating something that is low in water, and fiber content, I think, is reasonable, although I have to double check that. I'm not sure about the fiber content of nuts or seeds, but water content is certainly relatively low. And that means that it's going to be hard to move this stuff through the system. And so, the way we build mucoid plaque, I suspect, is 1/10 of a gram at a time, a little tiny bit at a time. Well, if you're eating things that are low in water or fiber or both, then yeah, stuff is definitely going to be getting stuck, no doubt about it. So, honestly, Jaskaran, there is probably no good reason to eat many nuts and seeds. Whatever's going on, that's not the answer. It's a Band-Aid approach. I mean, people do it because they want to get more fat, they want to gain more weight, they want to get more protein. But this is really not a very good solution because we are not intended to be consuming any significant quantities of nuts or seeds. So I would encourage you to find a different way. Okay, Z-Bobs says, biophotons, coherent sunlight energy stored in fruit. Okay, well, I don't know what to say about that. I haven't done any real research on this. Look, there may be indeed, I'm not sure exactly what this means, coherent sunlight energy. Okay, so the energy of the sun is stored in fruits in various ways. This is how we make sugar. This is how some of the nutrients come about. We are certainly getting many, many benefits by eating fruit, and my recommendation is to live on a fruit-based diet, as I've done now it'll be 29 years in 2 months. There's nothing that comes close to that, and there's nothing that's even similar. Vegetables don't even come close. Now, I do believe that people need leafy greens, but that's moving off the question. Other vegetables we don't eat. What exactly is coherent sunlight energy? I don't know. I don't know if this is a real thing or if this is just some made-up nonsense. There's lots of made-up nonsense out there. People talk, and I don't really know much about this, so I have to apologize. Thank you very much for the $5 Canadian donation, but I don't know what to say about that. How much of this energy, what exactly is coherent sunlight energy? How much of this is being stored in fruit? I can't really say. There's no question about the fact that we are getting tons of nutrients by eating fruit, and that there is nothing else that should consume any significant part of our diet. Fruit is what we should be focused on. It's what we're attracted to. It's what our bodies are looking for. It's the only thing that's giving us all of our needs without also giving us things that we don't want, right? I responded to a question the other day from someone who may be here, asked me about watermelon seeds. Are watermelon seeds okay to eat? Fruit seeds contain lots of nutrients, but they're almost always toxic because the plant does not want their seeds eaten. It wants those seeds to reproduce. And so they contain anti-nutrients, right? Substances that are actually harmful to us. Maybe they're in relatively small concentration in some fruit seeds, but they're still harmful to us. Vegetables are plants that want to survive. And so, the cruciferous vegetables all contain goitrogenic compounds that harm the thyroid gland. Okay, they contain anti-nutrients. Fruits, almost without exception, don't contain anti-nutrients because the plant wants you to eat them. That's what's, and our bodies are set up for that. Now, there are animals that are set up to eat animals. There are animals that are set up to eat leaves, and animals that are set up to eat various other things. But we are primarily, we are set up to be consuming fruit. And so there's nothing even close to us. More than that, I'm sorry, I can't really say. I apologize, but I don't know how to answer that question anymore coherently. I think maybe I need more coherent sunlight energy. But yeah, I don't really know much more about that. Sorry about that. Okay, let's see here. Okay, I'm going to go back to the top until there's another super chat. Now, by the way, if you are here now, oh, we just got one. BGN, Bulgarian. I don't know. I don't know if is that Bulgaria? I'm not sure what that is. BGN. I've got 10 BGNs. I think that's Bulgaria. Krasimir asks, is it optimal for pro athlete to eat more raw vegan meals, for example, 3 to 4 when train a lot? Okay, are you asking, as a raw vegan athlete, should you be consuming more meals per day instead of fewer meals per day? Because if that's what you're asking, really, Krasimir, the only intelligent answer is to listen to your body. I always forget this guy's name. There was a star running back for the Dallas Cowboys. This is American football, who says that ever since he was a teenager, an adolescent, he has eaten like a bowl of soup and a sandwich, or a sandwich and a salad per day, and that's it. That's it. And this was a big, strong guy who, when he finally retired from pro football, went into mixed martial arts and won a championship at something like 40 or 40 or 45 years of age. I can't remember his name. Very famous Dallas Cowboy football player who ate very, very little food. So we never want to eat more than our bodies need. And it's funny, I was just recording a video talking about one of the things that has people living longer. And one of the things that has people living longer is eating less food. So the answer is that you want to learn to listen to your body. You want it. Herschel Walker, thank you very much, David. Herschel Walker is his name, an amazing guy. Oh, I see Medical Qigong also gave me the answer. Thank you very much. Okay, so no, Tony, it's not Tony Dorsett. It was Herschel Walker. Thank you very much, Dino. Several people stepped in there with the answer. Thank you very much. I appreciate your response there. So what you want to do is get your body as clean as possible first. Get your body as efficient as it can be. You will build muscle far more easily than you will without doing that. Okay, I mean, I have a guy who he's around 50, if I remember correctly. I don't remember exactly. He is a doctor. He just completed a 4-week process with me, 21 days fasting. He said to me 2 days ago, it's incredible how much muscle mass I've rebuilt. Now, the definition in just the last few days of refeeding, because his body is way more efficient than it's been probably in 45 years. Okay, that's what happens. And so you don't really, I mean, people, athletes are, what happened? Am I going to lose too much muscle? You're not. You're going to lose some muscle. You're going to rebuild it really quickly. I had a professional athlete here about a year ago who gained 6 pounds of muscle in 9 days of refeeding. Okay, that's extraordinary. That's amazing. But her body, is adapted to building muscle, right? It's used to that. It's accustomed to it. It's very efficient at building muscle. And as an athlete, yours do the same thing. We had a guy here, professional football player, soccer, from the UK, who had a terribly bad compound fracture in his leg. They told him if he broke it again, he might not walk again. And so when he got the cast off, he came here to complete the healing process, to really heal his body. He fasted 30 days. At the end of the fast, about 3 days in, he begins exercising. About 7 or 8 days into the 12-day refeeding period, he comes to me and says, Loren, I have never felt so good in my life. This is a guy who's around 32 years old. He said, I've never felt this good in my life. I have tons of energy. I'm stronger than ever. Again, he'd only been eating for a week after fasting for 30 days, and had rebuilt the muscle. And he said, I'm just curious, how many calories am I eating now? And I went and calculated, and I said, around 1,000, 1,200 calories per day. That's it. And he was blown away that he felt so strong. And I mean, he was working out like 3 hours a day. We've got a saltwater pool. We've got a giant trampoline. We've got kilometers of trails on site. We've got where you can run and hike. We've got exercise bars for doing pull-ups and all kinds of things. We have a yoga studio and all kinds of exercise mats. We've got mountain bikes. So when you're feeding, it's really easy. And, you know, and clean air and beautiful nature. It's easy to go out there and be active and feel amazingly well doing it. And he said, I'm working out 3 hours a day. I feel incredible. I can't believe that I feel this good, and I'm rebuilding all this muscle, consuming 1,900, 1,000 calories a day, when 6 months ago, 4 months ago, playing ball, I was consuming 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day. Okay. So what I would encourage you to do, Krasimir, perhaps, is book a consultation with me, and let's talk about what your needs are and what you're trying to do. Maybe I can help you come up with a plan and figure out what's going to be best for you to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. You know, I am not an athlete. I mean, I was a competitive swimmer when I was a kid. Through college, I played water polo. I played soccer at a very low level. I wasn't very good. I played baseball. I was even worse at baseball. I wasn't a great athlete. I mean, I was good at swimming. And other than that, not so much. I'm actually way more coordinated now, interestingly, than I was when I was a kid. And I believe that's because of all the healing, cleansing I've done with my body. But my body stays incredibly fit and strong with relatively little work, because it's as clean as it is, and my diet is as clean as it is. And so this is the key. The key is to get your body clean and then eat optimally, and you will be blown away by what happens for you. It's amazing what happens over and over again. So I hope that helps. Now, by the way, folks, just a reminder, I'll do this a couple times. You know, if you're here and you're enjoying what you're hearing and you think this is beneficial, please give it a thumbs up. You can give it a thumbs up. You can like it here on Instagram. You can share this broadcast on your own channels, on your own page, you know, anywhere you'd like. That just helps get the word out. There's so many people that don't understand these simple concepts that allow us to feel and function as well as possible. But if you're willing to do what you need to do, what happens, it doesn't fail. I mean, if you give your body the conditions and opportunity it needs, it's amazing what happens. And, you know, I mean, again, I was just talking about this in a video, but when I was 18, 19, 20, I was a cadet at the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. And I spent a couple of years there. I wound up leaving because I had congenital knee problems, and they disqualified me from flight training. And I only went there because I wanted to be a pilot. Well, they disqualified me from flight training, and I thought, okay, I don't really want anything to do with the military. I'm only here for that reason. So if I can't fly, I'm out of here. But while I was there, I would ski as much as I was able to. We didn't have a lot of free time. When I could get a day or a weekend free, you know, we're in Colorado in the wintertime, I would go up to Copper Mountain, Arapahoe Basin, Keystone, Breckenridge, Aspen. I can't remember now all the places we used to go to when we could, but, you know, amazing skiing. But I needed to wear these big braces on my knees at 18, 19, 20 years of age with metal hinges to support my knees. Today, I am nearly 60, and my knees are better than they've ever been. And I surf today. I don't get much chance to do it, actually. I haven't been to the beach in quite a long time because I'm so busy here. But I can do things that I couldn't do before without needing support, putting all my weight on my knees. My knees are perfectly fine now at nearly 60. Okay, that's what's possible. And so I'm not a professional athlete, don't pretend to be, but I've worked with quite a few, and they always see amazing benefits by fasting, just getting stronger, getting more fit, having an easier time building and maintaining muscle mass, as well as every other aspect of fitness. You know, we're talking about, the flexibility is huge. You know, without being flexible, you're likely to get hurt. When you're hydrated, you become much more flexible. So I injure myself far less than I used to as a result of being better hydrated. There's so many things. It's amazing what happens. Okay, let's see here. I've got I'm going to read a comment here on Instagram. Cowboy Swimmer says, "Howdy, Loren. Can you speak about Candida on fruit after 72-hour water fast? Developed oral thrush going on 3 weeks of fruit and salads with white, painful tongue. Should certain fruits be avoided?" Nope. It's not that. I mean, yes, if you've got Candida, you should definitely avoid citrus. You should avoid cantaloupe and other crenellated melons. Those are melons that look like a brain that have those, that kind of texture on the outside. Eat smooth melons. Those are fine. Avoid all citrus. Avoid bananas and other very sweet fruits. But you can fix this. I've helped more than 100 people heal from systemic Candida by fasting 21 days or more. The thing is, you have to do it correctly. You need to have guidance. So you can either come here, if you can come here now. We now have, I think, as of what's the 11th. So in 4 more days, on the 15th, Costa Rica will be open to people from 13 U.S. states. That means we still have 37 states that can't come here yet. But I can also work with you via Skype. And fasting long enough allows you to eliminate this. Long enough and properly allows you to eliminate this. I can virtually guarantee you can eliminate it. I had the exact same problem and eliminated it 34 years ago and haven't had a single problem since. Look, nice pink tongue, no issues, eating fruit all the time. You can eliminate these issues completely if you're willing and able to do what you need to do. So I have a super chat here. Those love songs, thank you so much for your consistent generosity, those love songs. I would love to connect with you somehow. I appreciate that you're here in anonymity. And I apologize if you've already, I think maybe you already told me once who you are. I'm sorry. I connect with so many people. I get so many messages every day that I have actually trouble responding to them all. And I don't recall now, but I think you told me once. I just don't remember now. Maybe if you don't mind dropping me a quick email, I'd love to know who it is that's so generous. Those Love Songs has made a $50 contribution and has not asked me for anything. Feel free to ask a question if you'd like to. Okay, so let's see. In lieu of that question or any other super chats, I want to make sure I didn't miss any. I don't think so. I'm going to scroll back up. Let me see how we're doing here. We still have some time here. I got about 25 minutes left. So I'm going to scroll back up and we'll start working my way back down from the top. If you have questions and don't want to make a contribution, because the way this works, and I apologize, this is just how it is. If someone makes a contribution, I go right to those questions and acknowledge those people right away. So it's, everyone here is important. There isn't time ever to answer all the questions. It just can't happen. If you get here early, you can ask questions even before we get started. When I post on Facebook, when you can see that it's coming, or on YouTube, if you get the message. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, by the way, you might want to subscribe, because then you'll get notified when I'm doing these lives, which are at least twice a week, one English, one Spanish. And sometimes there's additional live broadcasts beyond that. In the height of all the craziness, when everyone was so confused about what was going on, I was broadcasting at least one additional time per week. I haven't done that for a while. There's really hasn't been so much new information. Although most people aren't aware of it, we already know that this really isn't much more COVID than a typical flu, that the tests are completely useless, that probably everyone eventually will test positive because it's just the presence of a coronavirus. And if you've ever had a flu vaccine, you've got them. That the whole thing was planned decades ago, and that 5 years ago, every single recognized nation, 196 of them, signed a document agreeing to this live exercise, that this was going to happen, that they were going to intentionally release a respiratory pathogen, COVID-19, and that that this would be a live exercise to see how the world deals with this. What's happened, of course, is that not many people have actually died from this, according to something published by the CDC just about 2 weeks ago now. Only around 9,000 of the 180,000 some deaths attributed in the US to COVID-19 were in fact attributable only to that. The vast majority of these people had 2 or more comorbidities, other serious conditions, and most of them were over 70 years of age. These were old, sick people. Okay, now 70 is not really old. I mean, I'm 10 years away from that and expect to be doing incredibly well at 70, but most people aren't. Most people by 70 are already got one foot in the grave. They're going downhill. That's because the average body cannot handle 70 years of abuse. Okay, 70 years of making shitty choices and and using drugs then to deal with the consequences, which make the body even more toxic. Right? Medicine isn't helping anything. And I realize this is difficult for some people here. Some people think I'm crazy because of this. Most of you may be aware of, if you haven't already seen, the Netflix program, which featured us, and they didn't tell us they were coming in to actually tear us a new one. And I found there was an article published in some nonsense magazine about this program, and talked about me specifically, was talking about how crazy I was, saying that this is no more than a flu. And that was one of the things that they quoted me on, like to show how crazy I am. And I guess the average person thinks that's crazy to say that, but that is actually the fact. This is, there's very few people have died of COVID-19. I'm not saying no one has, but the truth is we don't even know what this thing is. By the way, for those of you on Instagram, I apologize, but my phone battery is no longer very good. And it looks like I may not last too much longer on Instagram. So if the screen, if all of a sudden I go away, you'll understand what happened. My battery's dead. Unfortunately, because I have no cell phone service and no Wi-Fi at Tanglewood, my cell phone is connected to the internet with a network cable. And that means I can't charge it while I'm online. It's one or the other. So as soon as the battery dies, I mean, once I'm done here, I'll go plug my phone back in, but I can't be online while I'm doing that, sitting here. So sorry about that. Again, you can always go over to YouTube, go to my YouTube channel. You can continue watching there if I drop off here on Instagram. Okay, Oliver Marcel Bjerregard, and I apologize if I've martyred your name. I'm not sure exactly. Murdered your name. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce your last name. That looks like 17 Danish kroners. I believe that's DKK as a Danish kroner. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that very much. Ian has made another £5 contribution with a comment. For info, Dr. Vernon Coleman got sick of YouTube censorship and is now using brand newtube.com platform. Might want to keep it in mind just in case. Yeah, it would be unfortunate to step away from YouTube and the platforms I'm already using, because it's taken a while to gather an audience, etc. But I'm not sure what would happen if we changed over. It probably would be smart. Maybe I'll ask one of my volunteers here to research the various other platforms and figure out which one makes sense. Maybe it makes sense to go ahead and get on one or the other and start transferring material over to them, so that should we ever get shut down by YouTube, we still have a way to broadcast. I'm not sure how I'll let everybody know, but if I disappear, you'll understand that's what happened. Okay, I'm not going away. I plan on being around for another 100 years or so, and I'll keep broadcasting as long as I can. We're actually looking at the possibility of creating a podcast, which would be a more regular program. Perhaps, I'm not sure how often it would be and what the format would look like, but that's something we're considering. It sort of takes it to a new level. I'm not sure when that's going to happen, because right now my plate is incredibly full. We are amazingly busy, and so it may be a while. But yes, thank you so much for that, Ian. I appreciate the heads up on that. It's probably a good idea to be looking at some other way to do this. Okay, Lone Star has made a $9.99 contribution and said, when is Costa Rica opening up from I'm sure you mean two travelers from Texas, USA, possibly the 15th. No, unfortunately not the 15th of September. We already have the list of states for the 15th of September. And if I remember correctly, we added 3 states for the 15th. We already had 10 jurisdictions, 9 or 10 states, plus the District of Columbia could come here now. I may not remember them all. And I think I I may have a list here. I'm not sure if this list is complete. Let me take a look. This is all the countries. Actually, I don't think the U.S. states are actually on here. I think this is everything but the U.S. states. Yeah, it is. So most of you probably already know we're accepting most of Europe now, almost all of Europe, the UK, Canada, China, Singapore, Japan, and Uruguay. And that's it so far in terms of other countries. And in the US, we're accepting people from the US from most of the New England states, including, okay, let's see, New York, New Jersey. I believe Connecticut is now in there, Vermont, New Hampshire. I think I might be missing one or two. And then we've got Maryland, DC, I forget who else. And as of the 15th, I believe it's Pennsylvania, Colorado, and who am I forgetting? I'm sorry, I don't remember. You know what I'm going to do? Bear with me here. Oh, I think I've lost my Instagram. Okay, so Instagram is there we are. We're back on Instagram. I'm going to just give me a second. I'm going to double check. I've got the man who handles our shuttles for us, his company, is keeping me best. I'm going to look for a message from him from a week or so ago telling me which states. Okay, so so as of the 15th of September, we've added Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Colorado. In addition to those, New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Connecticut, Maryland, DC, and Virginia. Right. Okay, I think that's all of them. Oh, once again, sorry about that. Okay, so let me go back and see if I can figure out where I was. There we go. Okay, so I'm back here. That's it. We don't have any more information, Lone Star. I apologize. You can probably Google this to see which states Costa Rica is open to, and we will probably get a new announcement today. If not today, it'll be sometime by the end of next week. It's every week or two they're making announcements about who else they're adding. The objective is to add, is to open up to all of the U.S. It's where most Costa Rican tourists come from. I think about half of Costa Rica's tourism comes from the U.S., and Costa Rica depends on tourism. Something like 25% of working adults work in tourism. It's a significant percentage of the country's revenue is from tourism, and so it's really important that this change. And hopefully, we'll have more information soon. Okay. I wish I could tell you more. Oliver has made another 17 Danish kroner contribution. Thank you so much. Messages aren't going through. Okay, well, I'm sorry, Oliver, I'm not sure where your messages are. You can actually ask a question right on the super chat window. Okay, I see one up here above. They're going through. The problem is I'm not looking at them. I'm only looking, when there's so many super chats, I'm looking just at the super chats. So the question is, have you had success with people suffering from migraines, light sensitivity, and chronic overtraining? Chronic overtraining? You mean over-exercising? I mean, that's easy. Stop doing it. I'm not sure. That last part, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you mean with people suffering from chronic overtraining. I mean, if you're overtraining, the thing to do is to stop overtraining and give your body a chance to rest. I mean, certainly fasting is going to be the most efficient way to allow your body to rest as completely as possible. And if you've been pushing it too hard, you're going to see amazing things happen when you do that. That's what happens every single time. And yeah, we see a lot of people like that. And in terms of the migraines and light sensitivity, yes, absolutely. I mean, these are all things the body can heal. And again, fasting, it sounds crazy to many people. It sounds like a miracle, like it's magic. How can this happen? Well, the answer is simply this. Our amazing bodies are self-cleansing and self-healing. And when we fast correctly, we are simply giving the body the optimal conditions to cleanse and heal. That's all it is. When we do that, amazing things happen every single time, every single time. Okay, someone says, have you ever had someone with burnout syndrome recovering at your retreat? Of course. Fasting is a stressor on the body. After all, and being burned out, you're often allergic to stress. No, fasting is the way to give the body complete physiological rest. When done correctly, it's not a stressor at all. People think it is, but that's not true. We're resting the body completely. We're resting the digestive tract. We're resting the skeletal muscles as much as possible by doing little. The idea is to rest completely, and it is a way to recover from burnout syndrome every single time. We have a lot of that here. It's amazing what happens. We had a guy come in who told me he literally had been sleeping 2 hours a night for 5 months. He was incredibly productive. He was a self-made millionaire before he was 30, but he was doing this by never sleeping. And what he did, he came here in 21 days fasting. He got more sleep than he did in 5 months before coming. He was sleeping 20 hours a day. Now that's difficult because there wasn't time to get enough water in, and he got dehydrated. We actually had to give him electrolytes because he got dehydrated. That's not the way to do it. But yes, your body will recover from burnout, from adrenal fatigue, from stress of all kinds, from exhaustion through fasting. It is not a stressor to the body. In some minor ways, but the benefits are so much greater than any stress that's being created. People will always improve dramatically as a result of fasting, as long as they fast correctly. Okay, and that's the benefit of having experienced guidance. It's amazing what happens, and happens like every single time. Okay, so I hope that helps you, Oliver. I'm sorry that I didn't see your question earlier, and I'm not. I honestly, I don't get a chance to watch videos, so I'm not so sure how this works. But if you go, to the super chat window where you have a chance to make the donation, you can actually ask your question right there. So it shows up. You can see some of the other ones. So it shows up right there where you tell it how much. You can also put a comment or question in. And that's the way to do it, because that way I'll see your question right away. If you're not doing that, let me know that your question is just below, and make the super chat first. And then if you've somehow forgotten to do it or you missed it, just put your question in right afterward and tell me question below, and I'll look for your question. It's easier if it's right there on the same window, so I don't have to find it. Oh, Oliver, thank you so much. You don't have to do that. That's very kind. Oliver's made another contribution of 25 Danish kroner. Okay, and now I see Carrie here, an old friend. Good question about the migraine headaches and light sensitivity. I have the same issues. Carrie, what? I know what that means. That means you have probably not continued making perfect choices, optimal choices. Because if you do, those migraines should be gone forever. So fasting can help with my eyesight. Absolutely. Yep. You can improve your eyesight. You can eliminate the floaters, Carrie. There's no question about it. But yes, you need to fast long enough and properly. Again, I would encourage you. I know you have some experience, and we've worked together before. But I would encourage you to come back and let me guide you through the process via Skype if that's what works best for you. You've got kids, or at least a kid, but whatever it is, you can get this handled. Absolutely sure. Yep, I'm basically just vegetarian these days, but want to go back to raw vegan. Yeah, listen, that's what happens, right? Carrie was raw vegan, fasted, got clean, did amazingly well, went back to being vegetarian, and now there's issues showing up. That's what happens. Your clean body, your relatively efficient and much cleaner than average body, is not going to tolerate a vegetarian diet the way some people do. The people who tolerate it, it's not that it's good for them, it's that they don't notice how bad for them it is. When your body's clean enough, that's when you can actually feel the difference. That's when you actually notice it. So for you, there's no question. There's no comparison. You're going to need to do that. How many days do you need to fast to recover? Eyesight, it depends, Jonathan, on each situation. Each situation is different. There is no one prescription. Go to my website, tanglewoodwellnesscenter.com. Complete the fasting registration form. It costs nothing to do so. I will respond to you and tell you based on your specific situation. Generally speaking, it's at least 21 days, but it may be longer than that. Okay. All right, I can imagine. Okay, we have another super chat here. Wow, M. Will, thank you so much. I'm taken aback. I'm so appreciative. Your kindness and generosity. Wow, M. Will has just made a $100 contribution and said, I receive valuable information on every Friday morning. A great way to kick off my weekend. Thank you. You are very, very welcome. You know, I am so grateful that I'm able to be here with you, right? I mean, you know, I can imagine many scenarios where it wouldn't be possible for me to do this. And yet I do my best to, you know, to keep this time open for you guys. There may be times where it's not going to be possible because there's an emergency or something else I have to go do, or I'm called to a meeting I can't get out of. Sometimes here in Costa Rica, the government will dictate that you show up at an office at a particular time. It's a little crazy, but sometimes, you know, sometimes it's something like that. But generally speaking, I will be here every single week if I can be. And I am so grateful to be able to share with people who are open to learning. You know, I mean, again, I want you to, I'm going to start off by saying I'm perfectly okay with this. It doesn't affect me. But every single day, at least one person tells me what an idiot I am because of what I'm sharing online. You know, they're commenting on my videos, etc. And it's so sad because these are people who, in most cases, are not feeling and functioning nearly as well as someone could, and yet they're holding on to outdated, useless ideas about health and healing, and are unwilling to open themselves up to something which is somehow challenging them in various ways. And obviously, this information challenges a lot of people, right? There are a lot of people who don't want to believe what I'm saying. But the fact is, everything I'm sharing with you is true. You know, again, Carrie here, who is an amazing woman, got herself clean, you know, ate a close to perfect diet, and then went back to eating cooked food. And what happened? There's going to be symptoms. This is what's going to happen anytime a clean body goes back to eating, a clean enough body goes back to eating cooked food. There are going to be problems. It happens every single time. Okay, every single time. All right, so we've got just a few minutes left. I've got a lecture here to give to my clients that are here. And so, oh, I'm sorry, 10 o'clock, not 11 o'clock. I've got a group of people fasting with me, which you could be in. We have somebody completing their process in just a few days, opening up a space. And so if you're ready to take your health to an amazing new level, there's an opportunity almost right now for you to get started. I have a couple of groups, 3 groups right now every day. They're mostly full. Actually, we have space in the earlier one too. If you're up early enough, if you're on the West Coast, this probably wouldn't work for you. My 6 a.m. is your 5 a.m. That's probably too early. But if you're on the that's the West Coast. You're in the East Coast, it might work. You know, there's those opportunities. New groups all the time. New opportunities, new openings opening up. Coming here, of course, is amazing for those of you who are in those states where you can come. Or if you know you're coming, but don't know when, right now, we are offering 20% off with full payment. Okay, register and pay in full now, and you save 20%. What you need to do is register. Let me know that you want the 20% discount and you're going to pay in full, and I'll send you an invoice, or my staff will send you an invoice. There's no way to do that on our website. We'll have to send you an invoice for the discounted amount. But that opportunity is about to go away pretty soon. So, folks, this is incredible. We're talking about saving, you know, it could be anywhere from probably $600 to more than $1,000, depending on how long your stay is. And you'll have up to 2 years to get here. If there are continued travel restrictions and you can't get here, then we're going to add that time. So if between your registering and 2 years out, there's a year where you can't travel, and I doubt that's going to happen. But if that happens, you actually have 3 years to get here not to. Okay, we're trying to make it as easy as possible. We want to make sure you can't lose. You do need to understand that when you pay, it is non-refundable. Okay, so if you're going to do this, make sure that you're planning on coming. If there's 5 years restrictions, I mean, you'll always be able to get here. You can always use the time online. If you can't get here, we'll always give you credit for whatever you don't use. If that's what happens, you're not going to lose, and you're going to help us continue to do what we've been doing now for more than 23 years, helping thousands of people from over 135 countries. All right, so I'm going to jump off now. I've got just a couple minutes to get ready for my next call, with a group of people. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Carrie, what's the price of the Skype Fast package? It's $500. Skype fasting with me is the same price it's been for 13 years. It's $500 per week, except right now, if you pay in full, you can take 10% off of that. Okay, so it's $450 a week if you pay in full. A 4-week process is $2,000, $1,800 now with a discount. Or for those of you who need to, I'm talking fast because I don't have much time. For those of you who need to, you can also pay 50% upfront and then make monthly payments. That's without a discount, but make monthly payments on the balance of $100 or more to be paid in a year. So if you're fasting for 9 weeks, your payments are going to wind up being $167 or something if you pay 50%. If you're fasting for 4 weeks, 4 weeks of fasting and refeeding, you pay $1,000 up front, pay $100 a month for 10 months. Okay, that's the way it works. Feel free to write to me. Carrie, you know how to get a hold of me. It's great to see you here, and great to see everybody. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you remember that you are a divine creative being and you deserve to make the best choices for yourself so that you feel and function as well as you possibly can. Okay? There's no reason you can't enjoy an amazing level of health and vitality every single day, as I have for more than 30 years. Okay, without a day sick. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. Have a fantastic one. I'll see you again. Bye-bye. Can't see because of my phone here. Bye, folks.